Hey everyone, my name is Kumo and this is my reaction to the 7th episode of Yuuki Yuuna wa Yuusha de Aru Washio Sumi no Shou. Now, first of all, I am aware of what this is. This is essentially a recap of the first season to kind of transition us from the prequel to the sequel of the first season. And I thought about whether or not I should watch it, or rather should react to it. And I came to the conclusion that I would, because I watched the first season before I started doing reaction videos, so there's no like reaction series of it on my channel. So I figure I could at least do this, so there's something of the first season. So if I do have any like thoughts in regards to the first season, I can just kind of give them while watching it. So I don't know, I feel like there is a little bit of value there. And also because just in general, Yuuki Yuuna is one of my favorite shows, so I feel like in this case I will. Like for other shows, I may or may not do it, but for this one, yeah, I'll do this one. So, yeah, let's just get into it. Let us begin in 3, 2, 1, play. Togo in the hospital. A lot of people say that after waking up in the hospital, even though this is pretty much how episode 6 ended. Yeah, at the time she didn't know that she would meet Yuuna and they would become super close pretty quickly. This part gave me chills when I watched episode 6 and it's doing it again. It just, their relationship was one of my favorite aspects of the first season. At least until we had to start fighting monsters again. Yeah, that was pretty much how the first season began. And they had no idea at the time they would become true heroes. In Togo, I had no idea at the time that she used to be one, and she would become one again. Yeah. How much would that suck? Like, you're forced to do a pretty brutal job for a while. You have to sacrifice parts of your body for it, and then you have to do it again, having no idea that you did it once before. Like, could you imagine something like that, like being looped over and over again? Of course, the new set of heroes, they have it a lot better than Togo did in the first generation. Because they started out with fairies. They didn't have to worry about dying or, losing one of their comrades in battle. Luxuries that the first ones did not have. And they just had a bigger team in general, so it just made it easier. They had a bigger team starting out, and then Cutting joins them partway through. Yeah, Fu never expected them to actually end up being the heroes. Because she believes there's a whole bunch of heroes out there. And just in general, they believe the world's larger than it is. Yeah, and Yuuna had like a super high aptitude. And I think Togo had a pretty high one as well. Yeah, Yuuna was so cool in that scene too. Like she did her partial transformation, her arms and legs and stuff. It was so cool. Yeah, the Heroes Club responsibilities now includes being heroes. And of course, one other advantage they have is that they're older, so that probably makes things a little bit easier in comparison to the first generation. Would you even have believed her if she mentioned it? Like, I don't blame Togo for being upset at all, but... Was this a scene where Yuuna was doing silly things to try to cheer her up? A little bit harder. Just slightly. Yeah, and she doesn't even know that she lost a friend in the past. It is always enjoyable seeing the transformation sequences. And Togo's is pretty cool. Very, very nice transformation sequence. Yeah, about that. Yeah, she was very soon to red, but Yuuna did get to her eventually. Yeah, Itsuki. Always feel sad when I think about Itsuki. The way she found her dream to sing and then lost her voice soon afterwards. Talk about suffering. In the scene where Fu found out about her dream to sing, that actually did make me cry when I first watched that whole scene. When she found out about the audition and everything, like, just... Yes, at a very serious cost, though. Of course, they don't explain the important details. Like how you basically cripple yourself. But man, the Monkais are still really cool to see. Yeah, when Fu got her iPad, she like went full Chuny. Which was always hilarious. Unless you're Yuuna, in which case you can't taste anything. Although as far as the sacrifices go, that one's not that bad. You know, compared to being blind or deaf or mute. Nogi. And now watching this scene after we know everything that happened between them. Yeah, that one. If nothing else, it'd probably make you feel better to think that's the reason why. Like Gain, for instance. Yeah, like now that I have such a strong mental image of what Nogi looks like, is supposed to look like, it's even harder to see her like that. It's really not your fault. It's none of your faults. Yeah, this is the scene where she shows off that the fairies will protect them from anything. Even from themselves. Man, could you imagine if we actually saw those instances of her testing, like, animated? Man, that'd be dark. Yeah. Though I think they all, like, got better at the very end of the series. I don't really remember what that was about, but I remember something like that. At the end of the day, it was still her choice to join the club. You shouldn't feel too bad. And none of you knew, the truth of what all this was about. That goes for you and Itsuki, and everyone, but the Taisha. Yeah, this scene. It was what hit me so hard when I first watched it. Like, about as hard as the funeral scene in Washio Sumi no Shou did. Getting me chills again. Just the music and everything, the scene was just so well done. If nothing else, Yuuna definitely would have. Itsuki probably would have as well. Of course, Fu wasn't the only one to go on a rampage after learning something. Togu does as well. Speaking of... Because as we learned in Washio Sumi no Shou, Cnouki was the one that discovered this. About how the vertexes basically regenerate. And they're in that little tree. I really wish I could watch the first season for the first time again. Of course, I'm sure a lot of people feel like that about a lot of things. That's part of the appeal of watching like reaction videos to anime, in my opinion. It's like you vicariously get to experience a show again for the first time, like as close as you can. Yeah, that recording, the audition. Like, Itsuki went from not really being able to sing because of nervousness to, getting great at it and having it be her dream, and then having her voice just completely taken away. Like, could you imagine that roller coaster of emotion there? That is really not true, Yuuna. Yeah, she really came a long way from her attitude when she first joined. Or first showed up, rather. Yeah, it really does hurt seeing Yuuna like that. The birthday party. uh, yeah, that's when Karin really showed her stuff. I think she went Mankai several times in a row. Just the music is always so on point with this show. Yeah, the 5 tenants. You're like, they just succeed if you try. I don't remember all of them off the top of my head, but she'll say... Well, I don't know if she'll say all of them since this is a recap, but... This world is very cruel. I'm not sure how you would compare it to other worlds that are somewhat similar, like Attack on Titan or... You made friends and found there was more than just fighting out of life. She punches her best friend. And then hugs her. Well, heroes never die, so... If a son was that close to you... At least not without going Mankai some more. Yeah. Not really the time, but yeah. And Kaden is still fighting. That is quite the Mankai. And in that moment, Yuuna understood a little bit better how Togo feels. And then she lightly touches it. Which is all it took, I guess. And Kaden back to training, alone on the beach. Yeah, that confused me a little bit when I first watched the series. Like, I mean, they sacrificed part of their bodies, so like, unless Shinju-sama just decided to give it back as a reward, I don't really get it. Yeah, there's a sequel that's about to air pretty soon. A title drop. I think the title was Sunny Place, something like that. The episode title, obviously not the series title. It really is funny seeing Togo pushing Yuuna instead of the other way around. That was the 7th episode of Yuuki Yuuna wa Yuusha de Aru Washio Sumi no Shou. And yeah, it was pretty much what I expected, you know, a recap of the first season, kind of with Togo's narration and perspective and everything. And yeah, I thought it was pretty good. I would consider it worth watching if you're a big fan of the show. And, I mean, there's not really a lot to say on it. Like, I already saw all that when I watched the series, but, you know, it was a nice recap, you know. There were some things that was nice to get a refresher on. And it definitely got me pumped up to see the sequel, which the first episode of that should be airing in like a week, so, yeah. Feel free to let me know how excited you are for that, so. Let me know what you thought of the anime. Wish that on my reaction in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see more, and I will see you in the next one. Have a good one.